Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Davo from HeRoMaRiNe Esports, bringing you another 1v1 StarCraft 2 cast today. Awesome! Today on Shattered Temple, in the top side, we have HeRoMaRiNe, who is our yellow Terran, and then in the bottom we have Savagex, who is our blue Protoss. Excellent. Okay, so a little bit of background information about our players. HeRoMaRiNe is a very young StarCraft player indeed. He is 14 years of age, which in most countries isn't actually old enough to purchase StarCraft. He joined Esports on the 5th November of last year, which by the way was 2011, and he is based in Germany. Excellent, so he's a very promising young individual in the esports community as far as StarCraft is concerned. Excellent. Okay, and here we have Savagex, and he's from Denmark and part of Team Give It All, or so I believe. None of those details are set in stone, they're just what I could find and I believe to be correct. Please don't grill me if I'm wrong. Okay, so starting up here on the top side, we do have the barracks going down for HeRoMaRiNe right now, and it will be interesting to see what kind of builds these players go against each other lately, as I kind of find Terran vs Protoss one of the more interesting builds. I really like this build, and we will of course see quite a lot of Watchtower play, because these players are cross positions today, which means they will have to go over the Watchtower in order to find each other. And that leads to really nice kind of later gameplay, seeing as both sides will have to go round the outside here rather than straight through the middle if they do not want to be spotted by their opponent. Okay, and we do have HeRoMaRiNe finishing up his barracks right about now as well. Excellent, and of course getting them orbital command and marine out straight away, as you do usually when playing Terran. Both sides scouting right now. HeRoMaRiNe getting scouted out by the probe from Savagex at the moment as well, and HeRoMaRiNe just going to go and touch the Watchtower as well, which is very, very important indeed. And he is actually just going to go straight for searching cross positions, and I dare say that he probably worked out to go straight for cross positions on the timing that that probe entered his base. But I mean, the probe could have left Savagex's base at any time as well, so it really depends what thought process was going through our young player's mind. He is also getting a barracks and reactor, as well as another barracks as well, which I think we'll probably see a tech lab on, but for now reactor play is just fine because Marines are very good units indeed. 2 supply depots here, which are good because they help to prevent so many forces being able to run straight into the mineral line and cause a lot of economic damage early on, which is something that Zealots know everything about, is causing economic damage. They are very good at it indeed. Ooh, just like causing economic damage to that SCV's face. Oh! Okay, and we do have a Stalker being chrono boosted out as well. The defense for Protoss against Terran is very important. Ooh, what happened there? Savagex is apparently pulling most of his probes off the line. I'm not entirely sure why, and just putting them straight back on, it shouldn't be too much of a big deal, because they weren't off for that long. It does look like he might be going and having a swift push, or perhaps not. Goodness me, I need to stop saying what I think is going to happen when it is not going to happen, but I at least have to try sometimes. We do have a Marauder out here, so that push would probably not have ended very well at all anyway, as Marauders do absolutely destroy Protoss pretty badly. The combat shield is actually stacked on top of the concussive shells as well, which of course will mean that HeRoMaRiNe won't have 100 Vespane and minerals to spend in the meantime while that is stacked. But hey, it is researching now, so we're all good. It does look like we might be going on a push here with HeRoMaRiNe, because he is taking some SCVs to do whatever with. And we also have a proxy pylon here from Savagex as well. So if both these armies manage to avoid each other completely, which doesn't look like, because this probe will scout this army coming out from HeRoMaRiNe as well, Savagex pulling back quite a lot of forces, well, all of his forces at this point in time to try and deal with it, with this incoming attack, which could really slaughter Savagex at this point in time. But we do have a sentry up here on the high ground, which will definitely prevent... Ooh, yeah, which will definitely prevent an attack from happening just so yet, because getting force fielded as a Terran, getting force fielded on a ramp by a Protoss can be a very, very dangerous thing indeed. These Stalkers and Zealots here look like they are here in a kind of flanking position for an attack that isn't coming yet. It's just literally a little bit of a poke to see what is going on. It does look like HeRoMaRiNe will be going into a nice expansion now, though, seeing as he has just stuck a bunker on his low ground, which is very typical of expansions. And so will Savagex, will be slamming up his expansion as well. So both of our very good high tier players are expanding right now, which is nice. It lets us go into the mid game quite nicely. No real combat has taken place yet, but that is fine because there is more death and destruction to happen later on in the game, I hope. Here is the expansion coming down from HeRoMaRiNe, which is now finished. I'm sure he'll make it into a orbital command pretty soonish after it has landed, as very typical for most Terran players. There we go, excellent. And we have some SCVs transferring down as well. This is a pretty sizable Terran force stage in the game. And it does look like the Stalker is going to get taken out if he's not careful. These Marauders do have concussion shells, or concussive shells even. So if that Stalker got hit by a concussive shell, he could have kissed his life goodbye. Unfortunately for him, we do have 1 armor on the way, and for our Protoss player, and 1 weapons on the way for our Terran player. So I'm pretty sure those two will pretty much strike each other out. Now this is pretty interesting. Savagex is actually getting a robotics bay out as well, which can only really mean one thing, unless he's desperate for the movement speed upgrade for the Observer. It definitely means that he is actually going Colossi, which is a kind of, in my eyes, a surprising thing. I mean, most Terrans do kind of expect Colossi play from Protoss, and quite a lot of Protoss these days are beginning to go High Templar instead, because Colossi play is so expected. But on the flip side, of course, if something's expected for so long, if you suddenly if people were starting to do High Templar, that might become expected, and then hey, back to Colossi. But hey, maybe that's just a switch in the game that we are yet to see, as StarCraft is an ever-evolving game, which is one of its key points, I believe. One of the things that I really like about it. Anyway, these 2 Marines stimming here to just try and kill this Observer. Doesn't look like they'll be able to get it though today. Unfortunately, they have lost a little bit of their HP in order to run after a whole load of nothing, unfortunately. That bunker does get thoroughly creamed by those Marines, allowing buildings to go there, or whatever they like. I mean, generally most players just destroy that supply depot and then put nothing over the top of where it went. Sometimes I believe it is maybe just done for the complete funsies. We do have medevacs on the way as well, but maybe it would be a good idea for HeRoMaRiNe to start getting some Vikings out, as Savagex does have some Colossi on the way with that Thermal Lance upgrade, which can make them very difficult to deal with. As Terran, you will really need Vikings to deal with them effectively, as they can just sit at the back of the Protoss ball and just do whole loads of damage very successfully. And as a Terran player, if you try and move into the Protoss ball in order to do some damage to the Colossi, unfortunately that will just draw you closer to the Colossi, and then they'll do even more damage because your units will be clumped up, and it's a very nasty situation all round. But all round, this is quite a large Terran force. I'm not sure if Savagex is actually going to be able to hold it just yet. Well, maybe with some really crafty force fields he will be able to. He doesn't have any ghosts to waste the EMPs, to waste the energy of the sentries. And it does look like we'll be having some sort of drop play as well from HeRoMaRiNe, like a 2-pronged assault. Or maybe even some sort of 3-pronged assault. Yes, it does actually look like we're going to have a kind of a 3-way drop from HeRoMaRiNe as well. It does look like he'll be going to harass this expansion, or perhaps he's going to come and drop round all the way around here as well, far from the right flank. It does look like he's going to do that as well. So wow, he really is going for the alternate strategy right about now, doing 2 drops at once. This drop unfortunately getting held off, And the main contingent of the Terran army going straight back to base. Oh, these Marines are going to meet a grisly end at the handle of those Colossus there. As we can see them writhing with pain and burning and turning to ash. Ouch! Those Marines inside the medevacs were very, very lucky to get away indeed. Owie, ouch, ouch. It does look like HeRoMaRiNe will be expanding again. Of course, Macro is absolutely flawless. I suppose he's a professional gamer after all, even at the age of 14. Weapons +2 on the way from Savagex, which will make sure that they do the Colossi and all the other units do a hell of a lot more damage, along with obviously the Colossi itself. But more interestingly, HeRoMaRiNe is getting some Vikings out, which of course counter Colossus really, really, really nicely indeed. And we do have the Protoss ball up here just defending the third base for Savagex right about now. Excellent. This medevac is kind of standing here upset that she nearly got murdered. But hey, you just can't help some things. Okay, so we do have some maneuvers here from Savagex. It does look like he'll be taking down the rocks on his high yield expansion. So it looks like we might actually have a transition into like the long game coming here. And we also have a Templar Archives on the way as well, meaning that we'll probably see some High Templar, some cheeky Psystorm play, which is really, really fun. Psystorm being a very deadly spell against Terran and Zerg in particular. Against Protoss, it isn't really as good as the Psionic shields the Protoss have. Generally don't take too much damage from Psi-based attacks. But I mean, Psystorm all the same is pretty good. Plus, most of the Protoss units are armoured. Just going to quickly throw that out there. You know, Stalkers are armoured as well. And Psystorm generally does most of its damage against biological units like Marines and Marauders. And yes, actually, Zealots, as they are light and biological. These Marines coming in here having a little bit of a poke about, but then legging it as they see some Archons, not one, but 2 Archons, 3 Colossi. This is a very, very potent Terran killing ball we have right here, with the Force Colossus joining up as well. So and from HeRoMaRiNe at the moment we have a pretty standard Marauder and Marine combo with some medevacs built in and a whole lot of Viking. Really, he does not want those Colossi to survive, and after all there is 4 Colossi on the field, but he might want to consider getting something else, as there is Psystorm on the way from Savagex as well, and that might take him by surprise a little bit, as I'm not sure he actually knows there is Templar on the field. He might have seen the Archons, but they could be DTs, and he has actually prepared for that by getting missile turrets by his base. Okay, and these destructible rocks are going to be going down now from Savagex, looking to expand again, but he does need to be really, really careful because this Terran army is coming from him from behind. Of course he does know that. Well, he doesn't know that. I thought that was a unit. That just turns out to be a lonely Pylo the Pylon. And it does look like Savagex is now forming up, getting ready to defend an attack from HeRoMaRiNe. And here we do have the stim coming in, and here is the attack from HeRoMaRiNe. Does look like he'll be pulling back a little bit though, trying to get the optimum kind of way to attack. And there is a Psystorm going down on the Vikings, surprisingly, and there we have it going down on the Marines and Marauders as well. The Vikings taking down the Colossi very, very quickly. Savagex losing 2 Colossi, and there is the GG from HeRoMaRiNe. I don't think he quite expected the Psystorms in the way they were, and he might have overammed a little bit on the Vikings and not got as many medevacs as he perhaps should have. But hey, it's all down for debate. Okay guys, thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Enjoy playing StarCraft, and I'll talk to you next time. Cheers.